Welcome to today's episode of the Cooperative Exchange. I'm Charlotte Whatley with Compliance Services, and I'm here with Derek Bosanowski from PCI Compliance. And Derek was here speaking to our compliance network about PCI Compliance. Derek, what do you think were the major takeaways today from today's program?
Well, the big things to remember with PCI or the plastic card industry is that it's a set of standards that banks, credit unions, and organizations in general can use when they handle debit and credit card transactions and cards to remain secure and compliant within the industry. That's the big thing. The nice thing about these set of standards is that they encompass a lot of the existing rules and regulations that financial institutions already use to achieve and maintain compliance. So not only is this set of instructions available for banks for plastic cards, but they'll allow you to enhance your security throughout the organization as well.
So is it just credit cards, or are there other products as well?
Originally a lot of people were just looking to credit cards, but then debit cards are usually branded with the Visa and MasterCard logos, things like that. So those come under the PCI compliance as well. So the thing to remember is that if you store or process or transmit credit card information, then you're a candidate for PCI compliance.
And what can Compass do for a credit union who's just starting to think about PCI compliance?
One of the great things that we do is we perform a PCI Risk Assessment. So we'll come in and we can take a look at your environment and ask some questions and see what you're doing and how you're doing it, and use those set of standards to kind of help you develop a plan to achieve compliance in the area of PCI.
When you work with a credit union, what are some of the typical findings that you see for non-compliance?
Sure. It's most of the things we see do go from institution to institution. In a lot of cases, they can be simple things like policies and procedures haven't been kept up to date or disseminated properly. We see a lot of issues with logging and monitoring as well throughout the organization. These areas, what we'll do is when we provide the report, we show each area that you are doing well as the ones you aren't. So if you're doing something well, it gets noted and says you're absolutely doing this fine, no problems, keep doing what you're doing. The areas that may need a little bit of work, we can put those, in a format that will allow you to remediate them from high to low. So pick the highest ones and going forward. Take care of that as well.
I've heard that working on PCI is not that different than working on other types of information security for the credit union. Can you talk a little bit about how it might help the entire information security program at the credit union?
The great thing about PCI is it does work very well with the regulations that are already in place for different credit unions, NCUA, FFIEC. Those frameworks are very, very similar to PCI. While PCI does deal with plastic cards specifically, using that framework will give you a stronger security posture, and it's also in line with a lot of the government regulations already in place. Even things like network issues and where you're storing information, how you're storing information, how you're reviewing it, who's allowed to access that information, those are all taken into account by this framework.
Excellent. Thank you for visiting with us today. PCI is definitely an important topic for professionals to be familiar with. The Compliance Network meets quarterly, and our next topic will be in June, and we will be talking about vendor due diligence and how to read SOC reports and so forth. If you'd like more information about the PCI topic or would like to reach out to Compass IT, you can speak with me directly, Charlotte Whatley, at cwhatley@cucenter.org.